Oh, hi, my name's Michele Scott, and I'm going to talk to you today about machine quilting and my book, Bobbin Quilting and Fusing Fun. It's not just for bobbin quilting, it's also a machine quilting primer, but it does focus on bobbin quilting also, because if you can machine quilt, you can bobbin quilt. There's absolutely no difference. You don't have to be an expert. Visible thread. Any name brand is good. You don't want to use any of the chain store kind of invisible threads. You want to use more, like I prefer YLI. It's just my preference. I've been using it for 15 years. I've been having no problems. I have a size 12 in the top. Size 12 is a very thick thread. The lower the number you go with your thread, the thicker the thread is. And I'm going to use that for today. And I have bobbin in, I have invisible in the bobbin. All right, so the first thing you want to do is you want to bring up your bobbin thread. Why do you want to bring up your bobbin thread? So it's going to be a mess on the back. So you want to bring that up, and all you do is you put your, it's like super passer with me. What is this? Presser foot, right? Thank you. Yeah. Put your presser foot down. All right, do one spin of the flywheel, and you bring up your invisible thread. Up and down. It's pretty much probably not going to work because I have a lot of people here and I've got a camera. So that's probably exactly what's going to happen. All right, you bring it up. Now, to tie off in order to start and stop, a lot of times you just tack to start and stop your machine quilting. It depends on where the quilt's going to go. Is the quilt going to go into a quilt show, or is it going to go to, a grandchild? Is it going to go to your sister-in-law who you really don't like, but you've made a quilt for everybody else, and it's becoming obvious that you haven't made a quilt for her, so you got to make her a quilt. Those kind of start and stops you tack. That's when you go back and forth. Otherwise, you have to bring up your bobbin thread, and you have to, at the end, you have to tie it and bury the knots. All right, so you're going to start. All right, and you start out with a nice, slow, comfortable speed. The one thing you want to focus on is that your stitches are even. Now I'm using a size 12 thread. 12 thread is a little bit thicker than a lot of the other threads that are out there, but it gives a nice hardy look. It really adds something to the quilt. I enjoy using the thicker threads. If you're using the thicker threads, you've got to use a little bit longer of a stitch. How do I determine the length of my stitch? How do I determine it? What do I set on my machine to determine the length of the stitch? You don't. It's how fast that you're moving. It has nothing to do with machine. Because when you have your machine, you drop your feed dogs. And when you drop your feed dogs, it's not being fed anymore. I'm telling you, this is great. It's interactive, right? So you have to keep on your toes. So far, I think she's got 2 points. This is exciting. So it's not being fed. You set the length. If you go really fast like this, your tension's going to be all off. I teach classes, and people go too fast. Their stitches are tight, and their tension's a mess. And well, your tension's a mess because your stitches are a mess. Or if you go like this, really slow and really fast, and really slow with your machine, and your machine really slow, you're not going to get any kind of curvature. You're not going to get any curves, and all you're going to get is a lot of big stitches that you can stick a toe in. So you want to find that. You want to find that happy medium with your thread. All right, so. Do that. I go faster because I enjoy going faster, because that's how I learn. But what's great is a lot of these new machines have what's called a turtle speed. A turtle speed or a half speed or something like that. It's a machine button on a machine, and if you push it, and if I go pedal to the metal right now, that's the fastest it'll go, and that's good for beginners. But you don't want to go too slow. You need that momentum. If you go too slow, you're not going to get really nice curves. So you really want to find that medium. Also, when you're machine quilting, if you have an automatic needle down stop, you want to do that because you want to get away from your machine every once in a while. Because if you're sitting there, it's too much, your shoulders start to hurt, and you will start getting really bad quilting. So what you want to do is keep your machine, your needle down, so when you walk away, you're going to start in the same spot. All right. Yes, that's too slow for me. All right, now the machine's acting up. Okay, good. So now, whatever thread you can put through the top of your machine, you can put through the bobbin without any adjustments. You don't even have to adjust your bobbin. Let's say you got this really neat thread, a really neat metallic thread, and you love it. Or that sulky as a sliver, and that flat polyester film that we hate that goes through our machine. It's not working, because it doesn't work in my machine. It works in some people's machine. I don't like those people, because they have the advantage over me. So you can put them in a bobbin. You can wind the bobbin and sew it upside down. That's what bobbin quilting is when you have your quilt, you have your quilt top, you have your quilt bottom. You put your decorative thread in the bobbin, You put your thread in the bobbin, And you are, now the bottom of your quilt will be the top, and the top is the bottom. That's what I was trying to say. All right, so you can do that. You can wind any thread on a bobbin and do bobbin quilting with no adjustments. People say, well, how do you know where you're going? There's lots of ways. A lot of times I couch yarns around an area. So I have that really nice couched yarn, and then I know where I'm going inside from the back. There's another technique, it's called everything but. It's called, I have a quilt, and I'll sew from the top a whole bunch of stars. I'll sew a whole bunch of areas. And then when I turn it over, I can see all that quilting, and I know to bobbin quilt all those areas. This is explained in my book, Bobbin Quilting and Fusin Fun, that you can get at shopaqs.com or at my website, and it gives you all the techniques on how to find out where to machine quilt, where the different places are to machine quilt. All right, so you can wind the bobbin in any way and stick it in your bobbin and machine quilted upside down. Well, then there's these really cool threads out there. They're real cool fancy threads. One's like a candlelight, it's called YLI Candlelight. This is called a Designer 6 because the labels aren't there. But they are a size 8. Size 8 are very thick threads. You cannot put these through the top of your machine. What you have to do is put them in the bobbin. There's no other choice. People say, how do you wind a bobbin? I'm going to tell you how to wind a bobbin. Just like you wind your bobbins. Nothing different. So I'm going to wind a bobbin with this really funky green candlelight. All right. What I do though, the only thing I do different than winding normal, I kind of feed it. I kind of feed it so that I know where it's going. There we go. Now I go up and down. There we go. The bobbin is now wound. I have it, and I'm going to put it on in my bobbin case. Since it's so thick, you can't just put it in the bobbin case. What you have to do is adjust your bobbin case. Because when you put it in the bobbin case and you put it through the tension, it's not going anywhere, right? It's very hard. It's really tight, so you have to loosen it. So you get your handy dandy, here it is, screwdriver. There's 2 screws. You get the big screw. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. And when I was first starting this, I would go, well, I don't know which way to put the bobbin. I don't know, should I put it this way or should I put it that way? And someone's like, a circle is a circle, you idiot. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. And I'm like, so it doesn't matter which way you're going on there. So I will do lefty loosey. And you want it to just go down. See, you want to drop it, and you want it to go 2 to 3 inches. So I'm going to try another quarter turn. Oops. All right. There you go. And now it's dropping. It's dropping. You can't see it, it's dropping. And when you do this, guaranteed, when you do this, the bobbin's going to fall out and go all over the floor, and you're going to have to go chase after it. Guaranteed. And another thing what you want to do is, I always go and I put it right back on there because these bobbins don't hold a lot. And you're not going to get a lot of area with the thicker thread. They hold a lot if you're using like a size 40 regular weight, but they don't hold a lot if you're using the thicker thread. So you want to be real careful with making sure you have it on there. Okay, I have it in there. It's nice and loose. I'm going to put it in. Now, a lot of people have drop-in bobbins. What's great now, a lot of these machines with the drop-in bobbins come with a case that you can replace, and it's already loosened. You don't even have to go through the hassle. It is a loosened bobbin case. If you have a bobbin case like this, I use my bobbin case. I don't have an extra bobbin case. I don't have the time. I'm very busy. I have too much on my mind, so I don't have an extra bobbin case. I use this bobbin case. I don't recommend you do that. I recommend you buy an extra bobbin case, put a little bit of nail polish, she gets a point, nail polish on it, all right, and you use, see, very good, and you use this case as the one that you adjust. Because I've taught many classes and I never said to get an extra bobbin case, and then I had a lot of people going, thank you very much, I now can't get my bobbin case the way it is. So I don't want any hate letters. So get yourself a bobbin case to adjust for your thicker threads. All right, what I use in the top almost always with my thicker threads, my bobbin threads, is the invisible thread. This way you don't have to worry about the tensions. You don't have to worry about the little threads coming through the top or the bottom. But just so you know, if you see dots on the top, whenever you're doing your machine quilting, that means your tension is too Tight, everyone, very good. Your tension's too tight. That means you lower your tension. A lot of people don't like to touch anything on their machine. Like, I'm not touching anything. I'm not messing with anything. You can adjust your tension without a problem. Most of the times, if it's an electronic machine, you turn it on and off, it'll reset for you. I like the ones that aren't electronic, though. I like the little wheels here. I like the old school wheels for the tension. You can adjust your top tension. Any machine dealer will say that's okay. When you're messing with the bobbin, you're messing with the innards, that's when it's a little bit of a problem. But you can adjust this anyway. Whenever you see dots on top, that means it's too tight, you've got to loosen it, you got to go lower. If you see dots on the bottom of your sandwich, you've got to tighten the tension, make it, I like her, I like it. You tighten the tension. All right, so I'm going to put invisible thread, because I really don't want to worry about seeing dots anywhere. You're not going to see dots anywhere with invisible thread. All right, use your automatic needle threader. My mother has an automatic needle threader, has never used it once. I'm like, Mom, what is the point? Why don't you use this needle threader? She's like, oh, these newfangled machines. I'm like, no, it's not new, Ma. It's not new. All right. Okay. So you have your fancy thread in the bobbin. You have invisible thread on the top. You're ready to go. I always tell people with bobbin, people want to know, well, why would I bobbin quilt? I go, one fun thing to do is to find fun fabric. Like this. This is a fun fabric. Lots of swirls, lots of fun stuff. All right, put this on the back of your quilt. And this would be the front of your quilt, right? This would be on the back of your quilt. What you do is you follow these lines. Now, all right, I'm going to start here. And you follow the lines. All right. Bring my bobbin, you definitely with invisible thread have to bring your bobbin, not invisible thread, with the thick threads, you definitely have to bring the bobbin up. I can't get I have my shoe on. Anyone can sew with their shoes on? Impossible. Okay, so I'm going to go around the curves. And since I am following it, I am I'm always quick. But when I'm following a line like this, I tend to be more slow. So I really want to capture this design. The hardest part about machine quilting is not keeping your stitches consistent. The hardest part about machine quilting is figuring out where you're going next. If you can get the design in your head, if you can practice your designs, and I have lots of designs in the book that can help you, if you can practice those designs and get them in the head, you're ahead of the game, because all you are doing from that point on is figuring out where to go next. That's the hardest part of machine quilting, is figuring out where to go next. Anyone can do it. You only have to do one thing to get good at machine quilting, and what is it? That's it. If you don't want to practice, if you don't want to do it, then don't bother. Because professional athletes don't get good right out of the gate. You have to practice. I always say, I'm a person, I said I'm very busy, I said I'm the demented Martha Stewart. I'm very busy, I don't have a lot of time. So while learning how to machine quilt, I didn't want to just quilt on sandwiches. I didn't want to just practice on sandwiches. So I would take charity quilts. And I would machine quilt charity quilts, because a lot of them went to veterans. And do you really think one veteran's turn into the other one when they get their quilt and go, Stan, her machine quilting really sucks? No, that's not what happened. They're just happy to get it. All right, so let's see what we got. So following that design, I have to clip it. And I did go over a little bit, meaning I went all the way over. But you can come up with that with the sparkly threads. There's supposed to be a little bit more of an ooh and ah thing going on. Thank you. Oh, yeah. See, she was really impressed. She was really impressed back there. Very good. Ooh and ah, exactly. So if you have the thicker thread in there, you follow a design, or you don't have to follow a design. You can just create your own patterns. In the book, I have tons of different, different machine machine designs. No, you do not have to mark them. You look at the designs in the book, and don't copy them. And I'm not saying that as a copyright thing, because I'm so wonderful and you can't copy my stuff. It's more like trying to copy my handwriting. You're never going to be able to copy my handwriting. Take the designs and use those as inspiration for your own. Yesterday in class, a woman looked at my design and she used it. Her design was gorgeous. And I said, this is beautiful. She goes, it's yours. And I go, no, it's not mine. It doesn't look like mine. It looks like yours, and it's beautiful. I tried to copy it, and it was an utter failure. because you come up with your own. And what you do is you practice them. You get it in your head, and you'll be able to do it. Does anybody have any questions? Nobody? No questions. I was that thorough?
Do you remember me?
I do remember you. I do remember you.
I was so happy to see you.
Everyone's happy to see me. I'm a delightful. All right. Excellent question. Thank you. I am using a top stitch needle. I primarily use top stitch needles. Depends on the size of your thread. And people say, don't you use Metallica? Don't you use embroidery? Do you use quilting? No, I use top stitch for all machine quilting. If I'm piecing, I'm using a universal 70. If I'm quilting, it's a top stitch. Now, depending on the size of the thread in the top, depends on what size needle. I either use a 90-14 or 116. Pretty much though, I almost use 116 because I don't feel like changing it out. Like with this invisible thread, I really should use 90. I don't feel like changing it. People say, well, does that leave big holes in your quilt? No, it does not leave big holes in the quilt. They mend themselves. All right? When you are in a pickle, when you don't know where to go, the best thing to do is to echo. Echo your way around a design. Echoing is really pretty. It really does. So I'm going to be running out of bobbin thread any minute now. Another good thing to help you is if you have some kind of machine quilting gloves. There are machine quilting professionals that hate me for saying that, but the gloves really help. They help you with traction. Your hands are soft. The fabric is soft. It's hard. It'll kill your back. It'll kill your neck. So having those gloves really do help. Okay? I can't believe I'm getting this much out of a bobbin. If I wanted to get this much out of a bobbin, I would. I tried that. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. It's not horrible. There you go. Oh, I'm out of thread. Okay, so then that's what I get with my... Don't you like it? Thank you. I knew you would. I knew you're a fan. Yeah. But this is the beautiful stuff you can do, and this is just regular machine quilting. I did nothing different, but loosen a bobbin case and put invisible on the top. And that's why it's great with putting the invisible on the top. You don't see any little dots. There's no dots here. It's a perfect back. But again, if you're putting this in some kind of show, or actually with this kind of thread, it doesn't matter if it's a show or not. You have to bury it. You can't tack it. So you would take your thick thread and your invisible thread, and you tie, knot, and bury the tails. It only gets a little bit weird when you have a light fabric and dark threads. You have to get it in the batting. You have to really get it in the batting. But what you do, and it's a lot of work to bury the tails, it really is. What you do is, Jane Sassman said this once, she would just leave a whole bunch, she would do a whole bunch, leave a whole bunch, and then when she wanted to take a break, she would sit by her window seat and look out at nature. Of course she did, because she's so artsy and so earthy. I probably sat and watched like the Jerry Springer show and bury your knots doing that, okay? And she said I would take a half an hour to relax and just bury my knots. And you can get the book at shopaqs.com or my website, peacefulquilter.com, or just use the magic thinking box and put it in Google, and that'll give you what you need to know.